the process that we need for doing the budgets and planning. What are the, so let's now look at how we estimate the industrial demand. So there are two ways of doing the industrial demand. One is the industrial classification system, the standardized classification system, and another is the supplier buyer intention. So usually in the other industries you can have these two methods. However, in hospitality there are usually no such surveys. There are certain companies who are monitoring the market intelligence data and capturing the production of the industry and doing the hotels, and then they are normally the one who are in a best position to provide estimated industrial demands, so that we can estimate our market potentials. So normally the sales and marketing need to apply those market intelligence reports, so that we can understand what would be the hotel industry in general. Coupled with that, you can have the Ministry of Hotels data and the government data, where they are forecasting the tourism arrivals, the international travelers coming to the city, the domestic travelers coming into the within the country, so that you can have some kind of estimate how much the market is going to grow in the future. Usually you can always take a trend, how the number of travelers, the tourism has been increasing in the past few years, and use that numbers to estimate how much it will grow further in general. So you have to have a general idea, and then you can broken down into your own competing hotels information. So steps in forecasting the sales using the breakdown approach. So there are two approaches. One is breakdown approach. So first is forecast the general economic conditions, which are economic growth, the gross national product, estimate the industry's total market potential for a product category, and then determine the share of that particular market that the company currently holds or is likely to retain in view of competitive efforts. And then we forecast the potential for our products. Then use these forecasts to do the operational planning and budgeting. So in hospitality scenario, it would be the general condition, the economic growth of the country where we are sitting, and also the economic growth in our major feeder markets, which are for that particular where the travelers are actually coming from. So we need to have both the understanding, so that we can estimate the industry, the tourism industry market total market potential, how much it will grow and become in combining the factors, that what is the economic growth in the activity for business travelers, what are the domestic travelers increasing, how much the economic growth of the feeding market is going. For example, if you are in Thailand, you may not only want to look at the Thai products, you may also want to look at the China national products, Chinese, Thailand, Japanese, so because those are the major travelers that are coming to Thailand, the Koreans, the US. If there are certain countries where, like for example India, where you are getting mostly Southeast Asians, Europeans and Americans as a traveler, then we have to look at the economies of those countries. Are they increasing or going to recession? In our current scenarios, when the entire world is going to have negative recessions or negative growths, so it means the market will contract, means there are travel restrictions. Plus then we need to adjust these numbers with the visa restrictions, with the visa free with the visa free policies of the country, the tourism department's efforts, so that we can estimate some kind of growth in the travel market, in the tourism market for that particular market. And then only we will be able to estimate the share of our hotel in that particular market. So if you are already holding 2%, 3% market share, then you need to estimate based on that how much would be your market share, and then forecast the sales potential for your room nights and events, and then use that sales forecast to create the operational budget. So that is one approach, means breakdown approach. The other one, this is the graphical representation of the breakdown approach, where you are doing forecasting the general economic conditions, industry potential, then the company potential, then forecasting the sales of the company, and then broken down by the room nights, by the territory, by the type nationality, by the month. And then you need inputs from market survey, from the other Salesforce composites, sales managers. This is and then make your general company plans based on that. So this is one approach. The other approach is build up approach. So we have just discussed the breakdown approach. Now we're going to look at the build up approach. So what is the build up approach? Build up approach usually requires making everything from the scratch. So you do a survey from your own property individually, how much, especially for the hotels which are new hotels which does not have existing market shares. You have to do your own primary research to build up, or it's a new destination just open up. So those the existing data may not be really available, or if there are certain situations which has shaken up the industry. For example, now the pandemic has shaken up the entire tourism industry in the whole world. You will not be able to use the breakdown approach anymore, because that's not going to give you a reliable data for future. You have to use built up approach, means you have to do the research afresh. What are the consumer potential, what are the behavior, what are the traveling priorities, what are the business priorities, what kind of visa restrictions, the travel restrictions are going to be there, so that you can create the forecast from the bottom up.